And I think you also talked about patient and community engagement, and I think a lot of researchers are now beginning to realize the importance of this, and the Ethical Review Board, I know, also puts a lot of focus on community engagement. It is there in the clinical trial guidelines. And we also have been exposed to some of the newer models of RCTs, and I think I was in the ERB, and we never knew what an adaptive clinical trial was. So it was the first time we said so, yeah. So that was also something. And the last one, the last presentation by Professor Rajeev, very, very encouraging. He took us through the journey of his years to become a successful and a competent researcher. He talked about his challenges, about mentorship. And then I think the take-home message for all the young researchers who are sitting here is that to become a good researcher, it was a very motivational talk, sir. You need the passion, the positivity, and the perseverance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sudha, for summarizing the presentation so nicely. Thank you all the presenters for your excellent presentation. I would like to close by reminding us all that what we are talking about, what we are all aiming to get is welfare of humanities. It is not only for creating new technology or drugs or things like that. So don't forget that. There should be any activity should be based on evidence. But while creating that evidence, remember, it has to be scientifically valid. It has to be proven. It has to be of high quality. And while we are doing that, don't forget the participant who is involved in that research process. The ethics review committees are very concerned about the way scientific mindset thinks whatever we are doing is right, and this participant must follow our instructions. It doesn't work that way. You have to be careful. So I would like to remind you about that. And I have to say that this point which Dr. Murthy made about coordinated review process, that everybody reviews it at the same time, makes a list of questions the researchers must ask, is a very good initiative that we need to work on. And we have to make the life of researchers a little bit easy, but at the same time, we cannot forget the welfare of the participants. With this, I would like to close this presentation session and thank all the participants for their attentive listening, and thank once again all the presenters for their excellent presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I thank both of our chairs and all the amazing speakers for the power-packed presentation as well. Thank you so much. That was our second session, Evidence-Based Medicine and Clinical Practice. I'd also like to request everybody to remain here for a group photo opportunity. Meanwhile, हाम्रो यो कुर्सीको पनि थोरै व्यवस्थापनको कार्य अगाडि बढ्छ. Evidence-Based Medicine and Clinical Practice भन्ने विषयमा प्रेजेन्टेसन हामीले भर्खरै हेरेर गयौं. यसै विषयमा हाम्रो अब छलफल पनि अगाडि बढ्नेछ. तथ्य अनुसन्धानले पुष्टि गरेको उपचार पद्धति अपनाउने बाटोमा हामी कहाँ छौं, कसरी अघि बढ्न सक्छौं र साइन्टिफिकली प्रुभन एभिडेन्सहरु जम्मा गरेर उपचार पद्धति अगाडि बढाउनका लागि आजको दिनमा हामीलाई अप्ठ्यारो के छ भन्ने विषयमा हाम्रो छलफल केन्द्रित रह्यो. र अब हामी यसपछि प्यानल डिस्कसनको सत्रलाई अगाडि बढाउने तर्खरमा छौं. Thank you everybody. र अब यो सेसनलाई अगाडि बढाइदिनु हुनका लागि म आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु डाक्टर खेम्बी कार्कीज्यूलाई. उहाँ फर्मर एक्जिक्युटिभ चीफ हुनुहुन्छ NHRC को र करेन्टली हेड अफ कम्युनिटी मेडिसिन डिपार्टमेन्ट इन्स्टिच्युट अफ मेडिसिनबाट उहाँले अबको यो सत्र अगाडि बढाउनु हुनेछ. हामी तथ्य र अनुसन्धानमा आधारित रहेर उपचारलाई कसरी अगाडि बढाइरहेका छौं भन्ने विषयमा त्यतिन्जेलसम्मका लागि कुर्सीको पनि व्यवस्थापन भइसकेको छ. I request Dr. Khembi Karki to proceed the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Somaji, and लन्च पछाडिको सेसन्सहरू अलि अप्ठ्यारै हुन्छ। एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण कुराहरू हामीले सुन्यौँ। त्यसपछि अब हामी यसलाई कन्क्लुजनमा लानुपर्ने छ। अहिले हामी एभिडेन्स बेस्ड मेडिसिन एन्ड क्लिनिकल प्र्याक्टिसको ग्लोबल, रिजनल एन्ड नेप्लिज हाम्रो स्ट्याटसको बारेमा हामीले छलफल गऱ्यौँ। हामी कहाँ छौँ, हाम्रा च्यालेन्ज के हो, प्रब्लम्सहरू के हो। अब हामी यी सबै विषयहरूलाई सुनेका छौँ र म केही विद्वान मित्रहरूलाई यहाँ बोलाउँछु। ओके, I'm trying to have both Nepalese and English. Simple Nepali and simple English I will try. So we are trying to have conclusions as how can we implement these all learnings in our practices. So I would like to request some of my experts here as a panelist, and we will discuss a bit about these matters. Actually, we are delayed, but we have to have these sort of discussions. So first of all, I would like to request Narayan Prasad Dhakal, who is the Director General of Department of Drug Administration, is regulatory organizations in our country. Have a seat, please. And also, I would like to request Editor-in-Chief of Journal of Nepal Health Research Council and principal investigators of a couple of clinical trials, especially phase 3 vaccine trials. So, and also I would like to request Naheeda Haque, if I pronounce properly, Naheeda Haque, Miss Naheeda Haque. He is the head of the clinical trial unit of Export Clinical Research Unit in Nepal. Sorry?
It's Naheeda Haque.
Naheeda Haque. So I'm so sorry, Naheeda Haque. And she began her career 5 years ago as a vaccine logistic officer and quality assurance officer also, and has a lot of experiences handling the clinical trials at the field sites. And also I would like to request Dr. Diptesh Aryal, the member of Ethical Review Board. Actually, he's the critical care physicians and good research researcher, a research faculty in critical care at the Medical Education Commission, and the PhD scholar also. And also, lastly, but not the least, I have a questions. That's how, I would like to invite the Professor Vasi Murthy to be a panelist for some of the questions. So, please. Please. Then, do mic use okay. So I will have a mixed kind of conversation, so so that Professor Vasi will also understand what we are talking about. So पहिला चाहिँ म सरकारबाटै जानु पर्यो जस्तो लाग्छ। त्यहाँबाट कुरो उकाएपछि हामीलाई सजिलो होला। हामीसँग खास गरी क्लिनिकल रिसर्चहरुको लागि रेगुलेटरी अर्गनाइजेसन्सको रूपमा डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ ड्रग एडमिनिस्ट्रेसन छ र यसले अहिलेसम्म कुनै पनि एउटा चाहिँ मलिकुल्स नेपालमा आउनु पर्यो भने उहाँहरुको एप्रुभल बिना यहाँ आउनेवाला छैन। यो हाम्रो लिगल अरेन्जमेन्टहरु हाम्रो यस्तो छ। त्यसैले अब यो बदलिदो परिस्थितिमा हामी क्लिनिकल रिसर्चहरु, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स प्लस रिसर्च, डिफरेन्ट काइन्ड अफ रिसर्चहरु नेपालमा प्रमोसन गर्नुपर्छ, यसलाई गर्नुपर्छ भनेर हामी सबै लागिराखेका छौं। मैले यहाँलाई के मात्रै सोध्न खोजे भने अहिलेको यो बदलिदो परिस्थिति अनुसार चाहिँ हामीले के कुराहरु चाहिँ गर्न सक्यौं भने थप क्लिनिकल अनुसन्धानहरु गर्नको लागि सजिलो हुन्छ अथवा हामीले राम्रोसँग फेसिलिटेट गर्न सक्छौं र नेपालमा हामी थुप्रै त्यस्तो नयाँ मलिकुल्सहरु चाहिँ निम्त्याउन सक्छौं।
Thank you, Professor Karki. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the team for inviting me to address this plenary. It's a very, very big question anyway. It's an overarching question. What I would like to suggest is, currently, I think 4 things we need to really focus. Number 1 is a framework for clinical trial regulations or conduction of clinical trial in the country. There should be a clear framework. That means a guidelines that anybody, any interested scientist has to refer and then follow, and it's predictable and it's like clear. So that type of guidelines is still not developed from our side. As a regulatory, we are also focusing into this point, number 1. Number 2 is the very research means you should have a pool of experts, as we have learned in the previous delivery also. Science doesn't just develop in a one day or kind of on and off type of thing. It needs a continuous and persevering, research going on all the time. So we should have a very good pool of critical mass in the country. So for that matter, we should have certain policies or programs that enhance, the interest and motivation of the researchers. So for that matter, I think, as you mentioned in the question also, how we can facilitate those type of people. So we should have a very clear, thing. And third thing, what I feel is, from my perspective, any research, being conducted in a country should be registered, should be, the data should be safe and reliable. So for that matter, we should have a mechanism by which the research, whole research is actually conducted and, facilitate and reliably, that enhance to produce data as, good, results. So in that sense, we should have that type of mechanism, data management mechanism. And fourth thing is definitely the overall concept of the people. When you are doing research, that means the research, pro-research kind of understanding from the peers, also from the overall society or other, people, not only academia, but other people. So in our country, if you want to run a research, what they think? Do you get volunteers for research or not? Do you get patients to enroll or not? That type of problem is there, I feel. So we have to enhance that kind of, enhancing pro-research kind of culture in the country. So to enhance this, definitely we have to work from not only from regulatory side, from other people like NHRC and academia. They have to really foster this environment of, accepting, and they should understand without evidence, we cannot get medicine. Without medicine, we cannot treat people. We cannot treat people with, without a good medicine also, which is a really effective medicine. So in that sense, people should understand research are integral to their treatment or their health taking behavior, right also. So it should be linked in that sense. Yeah.
And another important thing, we have questions like, are the government investment is enough for preparing these regulatory organizations, or what is the positions actually as a regulatory body, whether we are capable enough to handle multiple clinical trials in this country, or something that we have to do?
If you ask this question to me for DDA, for example, in that sense, definitely we don't have a very well-functioning mechanism or officiating at the moment. For clinical trial, we should have a different set of people managing all activities. Definitely, we are working on to improve our organization, improve our organogram to include experts as well as management staffs. So that is one part lacking in our case. Definitely, the current thinking of the department is that we have to restructure the departmental positions and requirements of expertise, including and also a standard operating procedure to include outside experts to review, the applications. So in that sense, we are working on that, and that currently, definitely, we don't have a well-functioning, position. Number two things I think you mentioned in the previous question also. For clinical trial, for example, for vaccines, in the previous presentation also, one of our, experts highlighted, we need to go to cabinet, for approval of vaccines, clinical trial. So that was a mistake, in my view, as a personal view, but it has come as a law now. So we are implementing that at the moment. But we are trying to address revoke that provision and then include that DDA itself, the National Regulatory Authority, will have authority to approve the trial. So current draft drug bill will contain the authority down to the DDA now again. So yes, we are working on that. So that is we also request support from all sections, because that is not a pro-research, promotion provision. So we need to really revoke that. We need to improve that. So for that, we have to pass the bill again. Yes. So it has to go through the parliamentary process. So we have already sent it to the ministry. Probably it will go in the,
Might be this is a good news for the researcher. Just I stop here. And I would go to the actual investigators. Professor Rajeev, who has handled a couple of clinical trials in this country, and I would just would like to highlight what are the challenges and issues doing clinical trial in this country.
Thank you, Dr. Khem, and thank you, Nepal Research Council, for inviting me as panelist over here. So, as being investigators and also leading the several vaccine trial in Nepal, it's from perspective of investigators, what I'll do is I'll put in three different issues. Though from this afternoon we listened from several dignitaries about the challenges, but I want to keep in four different issues. One is in investigators level, and another in community level, and another is policy level. So from the investigator levels, what I would say is a lack of that is training, especially for good clinical practice training. That though we say that Dr. Mohan has shown us that there is a RCT done in 70s, but what we still lacking is a good clinical practice, and especially for documentation part. And another part especially for investigators is which Nepal Research Council is doing a lot for having a regular training for investigators. But still we have to do a lot when we are preparing for the clinical trial. So my main concern is that are we still that we are ready for the major clinical trial in what Nepal is leading. So the one part in that. In community level, what I want to say is that there is still a very lack of awareness regarding the necessity of clinical trial in community, that people always say that it's being a guinea pig they have made to the clinical trial. But without evidence, as we were talking this whole session about the evidence-based practice, that without this evidence that we won't be able to fulfill the need of the care, especially for patient. And though we are following the very fancy guideline from from abroad. But what I would like to highlight over here is that guidelines should be tailor-made. It should be the national guideline that we have to produce by ourselves, not from the others. And this evidence should be generated from our community. So I want to highlight this community awareness, and this is a challenge for the investigators to pursue the community to do that. And next one is the policy level. I would say there is a very large disconnect between the policy makers and academicians, researchers. So we have to fulfill that disconnect regarding that how the academicians and researchers can contribute in the policy making, in creating the evidence for the better practice of the medicine. And especially that Dr. Khem has rightly mentioned, and previous speaker, Dr. Mohan, has also highlighted that for vaccine trial, we have to take the approval from cabinet. So sometimes we feel very difficult to explain to the funders that why Nepal has to get the approval from the cabinet. It's a science, and that's the main issue that we are facing at the current moment. Though the other drug trial, we don't need the cabinet approval, but for the vaccine trial, we still need the cabinet approval. And that is the major issue at the present moment. And next thing that what we face during the COVID is also that though COVID is a global thing, and that time it's a national public health emergency. But that time, what we felt is that still there is communications, there is a dialogue gap between the experts, especially what I mean is the expert means the academicians, researchers, which is lying on the universities, not only the Kathmandu universities, but there is Tribhuvan universities are there are BPKHS is there, and Patan Academy of Health Sciences are there. So the disconnect was prevailed during that time. And what we want to say is that if we have to, from this forum, I want to request to the policymakers that there should be the connection between academic institute and government. So I always advocate on government-academia partnership, because if there is government-academia partnership, then whatever the pandemic comes, we can face, and we can really make happen that what Nepal can do. Though there are lots of things that we have to pursue to our community, but still it is doable.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.
So because of these approval delay, or we have to reach out to the cabinet, and there are so many actually to brief. There are some hurdles, there are some barriers. That's how some of the sponsors, they are not ready to come to Nepal. That is what I have heard. So these are the issues actually. So how can we handle those sort of things? And as you handled the NHRC for 4 years, and I'm asking to Dr. Pradip now, and then I will come to you also. So you handled the 4 years. That is the very prime time for Nepal Health Research Councils to establish these clinical trials, because there was a COVID-19, and that has opened the door for vaccine trials and so many things. And lot of issues came about drug trials. There are some political pressures, as we have a big experience with Narayan Dhakal sir, and you and myself also. I face a lot of things. So as a research manager, and looking at these all challenges as the investigator is telling, and the regulatory organizations also telling, what are the possible way forward that we can do on behalf of Nepal Health Research Councils and from the research community as well?
धन्यवाद डॉक्टर खेम। मैले रिसर्च काउन्सिलमा मेम्बर सेक्रेटरी जोइन गरेको लगभग 1 महिना पश्चात चाहिँ कोभिड-19बाट हामी गुज्र्यौँ। त्यो बेला यस्तो थियो, त्यो मैले सम्झिन चाहन्छु, जुन बेलामा मान्छेसँग चाहिँ तपाईको कन्ट्याक्ट गर्ने, बोल्ने कुराहरूले गर्दा कोभिड सर्छ भन्ने अवस्था थियो, र त्यही बेलामा भ्याक्सिनको ट्रायल पनि सँगसँगै हुँदै थियो। र हामीले एज अ क्लिनिकल रिसर्चर, एज अ क्लिनिकल फार्माकोलोजिस्ट र नेसनल म्यानेजर फर हेल्थ रिसर्च इन द कन्ट्री मैले के सोचेँ भन्दा यो हाम्रो लागि एउटा सुवर्ण अवसर पनि हो। रिसर्च काउन्सिलको नेतृत्वमा नेपालमा कोभिड-19सँग सम्बन्धित भ्याक्सिन ट्रायल लगायतका रिसर्चहरू गर्नुपर्छ, ड्रग ट्रायलका रिसर्च गर्नुपर्छ भनेर हामीले कुरा अगाडि बढाउँदै थियौँ र त्यही क्रममा हामी चाहिँ अन्तर्क्रियात्मक हिसाबले अगाडि बढ्यौँ। र मेरो एउटा बिटर एक्सपिरियन्स के रह्यो भने नेपालमा रिसर्चको लागि स्पेसली क्लिनिकल रिसर्चको पार्टमा हामीले धेरै कुरा सिक्न बाँकी छ, गर्न बाँकी छ र इभन एज अ रिसर्चरको पोइन्ट अफ भ्यूबाट, ब्युरोक्रेटिक पोइन्ट अफ भ्यूबाट, मेडिकल स्टुडेन्ट लगायतका रिसर्चरको पोइन्ट अफ भ्यूबाट हामी धेरै कुरामा पछाडि छौँ र हामीले धेरै कुरा सिक्नुपर्छ। र त्यसबाट मैले के एउटा कुरा सिकेँ भने हामीले लबिङ गरिरहँदा इभन क्याबिनेट लेभलमा, ब्युरोक्रेटिक लेभल, मन्त्रालय लेभलमा भ्याक्सिन ट्रायल गर्नु भनेको अहिले चलिरहेको सरकारको आयु चाहिँ छोट्याउनु हो। जनताको लेभलबाट यो रिसर्च हामी गऱ्यौँ भने हामीले दिनदहाडै कुर्सी छोड्नुपर्छ भन्ने खालका समेत सचिवका सरुवा हुनुपर्छ, हुनसक्छ र रिसर्च काउन्सिलबाट तपाईँको जागिर पनि जान सक्छ भन्ने खालका त्यो खालको चाहिँ तपाईँको हाम्रो सोचाइ थियो र यो बिटर रियालिटी थियो। र त्यसलाई हामीले चिर्दै हामी धेरै ठाउँमा लबिङ गर्ने क्रममा मन्त्रालय, क्याबिनेट, रिसर्चर साथीहरू सबै मिलेर हामी लबिङ गर्दै गयौँ र त्यसमा हामीले के भनेको थियो भने भ्याक्सिन ट्रायलको थर्ड फेज जुन विश्वमा फर्स्ट फेज र सेकेन्ड फेज सकिसके पछाडि जुन सेफ्टी र चाहिँ इफिकेसी इस्युहरू चाहिँ कम भइसकेपछि राम्रोसँग आएको चाहिँ भ्याक्सिनलाई थर्ड फेजमा हामी चाहिँ ट्रायल गर्छौँ र जुन बेलामा चाहिँ त्यो ट्रायलमा हामी जान सकेको भए नेपालले कोभ्याक्स फ्यासिलिटी मार्फत चाहिँ थुप्रै डोजहरू भ्याक्सिन पाउन सक्थ्यो र त्यही बेलामा हामीले भ्याक्सिन चाहिँ किन्नको लागि पैसा दिएर पनि खोज्छौँ भन्दाखेरि भ्याक्सिन पाइरहेको अवस्था थिएन र त्यो बुझाइको अवस्थाको कारणले गर्दा हामीले हाम्रो मुखमा आएको भ्याक्सिन ट्रायल चाहिँ गुमाउनु पर्यो। नारायण सर यही नै हुनुहुन्छ, राजीव हुनुहुन्छ, हामी सबै छौँ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि मैले चाहिँ के भन्न खोजेको भने मेरो अनुभवमा चाहिँ हामीले रिसर्चको लागि अहिले चाहिँ क्लिनिकल रिसर्च, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल चाहिँ नेपालमा हामीले चाहिँ तपाईँको चाहिँ गएर सेफ्टी इस्युहरूदेखि नै सुरु गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने खालको कुरामा चाहिँ एडभोकेसी नै जरुरी छ। अहिले हाम्रो एडभोकेसी लेभलमा छौँ हामी चाहिँ आज कुन लेभलमा पुगेका छौँ भन्दाखेरि हामीले रिसर्च क्यापेसिटी बढाउनुपर्छ, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल बढाउनुपर्छ, क्लिनिकल रिसर्चमा काम गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुराको एडभोकेसी लेभल चाहिँबाट सुरु गर्नुपर्छ। आजको दिनमा त्यो मैले त्यो सोचिरहेको छु। केही यदाकदा रिसर्चर बाहेक, यदाकदा रिसर्च इन्स्टिट्युसन बाहेक हामीले धेरै कुरा सिक्नै पर्छ डाक्टर खेमहरू। किनभने यसलाई हामीले आज यो बिचमा चाहिँ यो फोरम हो, यो फोरम हामी कुरै गर्नुपर्छ कि एज अ रिसर्च म्यानेजर हामीले रिसर्च क्यापेसिटी चाहिँ र रिसर्चरको क्यापेसिटी बढाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ। त्यसको लागि हाम्रो एक्सपोजर, हाम्रो भिजिट पुगेकै छैन र हामीले जतिखेर चाहिँ भ्याक्सिन ट्रायल चाहिँ तपाईँको चाहिँ काम गरेँ, इभन हामी इथिकल रोडबाट काम गर्दाखेरि अथवा चाहिँ साइटमा काम गर्दा, इभन साइट स्पेसिफिक रिसर्चरहरूले पनि मलाई लाग्छ यसबाट धेरै कुरा सिक्नु भएको छ र कोभिड हाम्रो लागि सिक्नको लागि चाहिँ एउटा मौका पनि थियो र यो मौका गुमाउनु हुँदैन र यो मौका नबगाउँदै गरिरहँदाखेरि हामीलाई परेको अप्ठ्यारो के हो भने नारायण सरले भन्नुभयो कि भ्याक्सिन ट्रायल गर्नको लागि अब क्याबिनेट जानुपर्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ जुरुएको छ। यो चाहिँ कुनै पनि हालतमा चाहिँ तपाईँको यो चाहिँ अन्त्य हुनुपर्छ र त्यो दिन कार्यान्वयन दिन थियो र जसरी चाहिँ भ्याक्सिन ट्रायल चाहिँ क्याबिनेटमा लगेर चाहिँ पास गर्नुपर्ने अवस्था आयो। अब रिसर्च मर्यो, रिसर्चरले चाहिँ तपाईँको रिसर्च गर्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ गर्नु कामै छैन। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यो बुझाइ र भनाइ चाहिँ तपाईँको लेभललाई हामीले सँगै लाँदै र हामी पनि चाहिँ शिक्षित हुन जानुपर्छ र त्यसको लागि अहिले आउने चाहिँ तपाईँको चाहिँ रिसर्चको टिम मेम्बर्सहरूले विशेष ध्यान दिनुपर्ने हुन्छ भन्ने खालको मेरो बुझाइ डाक्टर साहब।
अर्को ट्रिगर गरौँला। म अब नहिदाजी जो चाहिँ खास गरी क्लिनिकल ट्रायलको म्यानेजमेन्टमा प्रत्यक्ष संलग्न हुनुहुन्छ र स्पेसली कम्युनिटी इन्गेजमेन्टमा पनि यहाँहरूको ठुलो रोल छ। टाइफाइडको भ्याक्सिन्सको ट्रायल जुन गर्नुभयो त्यसमा पनि लट अफ एक्सपिरियन्सेस यु हेभ गेन। सो यहाँ हाम्रो रिसर्चरहरू जो चाहिँ क्लिनिकल ट्रायल गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ, क्लिनिकल रिसर्च गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूको लागि तपाईँहरूको एक्सपिरियन्स चाहिँ इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुनसक्छ। अघि प्रोफेसर राजीवले पनि औलाउनु भयो कि कम्युनिटी इन्गेजमेन्ट र कम्युनिटी अवेरनेस इम्पावरमेन्ट बिनाको क्लिनिकल ट्रायल चाहिँ अलमोस्ट इट्स इम्पोसिबल। सो please tell us that what you are doing and what is your experiences that you can say to our audience so that they can learn and they can do further.
Thank you, sir, for the question. Thank you for the opportunity. So we started with the vaccine trial. That was the TCV trial. So that was a great learning for our organization as well. So we started with the community engagement, and we had to, it was a tough job actually. We had to we are a very naive community regarding research, and our community are not aware of researchers, so you have to go and convince them, like the participation into the clinical trial will be helpful for them. I mean, like, we as a researcher have a motive to generate data and to provide to the policy makers, but also for the population, because it's for their benefit, because without being, being able to bring the data, we will not be able to bring into policy. So we need to convince them, and it was like in different levels. It was like 3 levels of public engagement, like we do with the normal population who actually are participants, and then we go to the stakeholders, and then to the policymakers. So it was quite a task, like we have to convince all 3 levels of stakeholders to bring them together into research. And I think for any kind of research, if we are not able to, gain trust of people into the research, and you have to make sure that, and convince them that their safety and their whatever data that we are taking from them are taken care of and not misused and misutilized. They won't be able to trust your research team. So it was a great learning, and I think we were able to convince the population. And since we are working very closely with Patton Hospital, now we are kind of expanding to different regions. So at least for Lalitpur area, people are very trustworthy to our organization, and we do regular community engagement programs on a regular basis, and they're very aware of what we are doing. So I think that trust have been very, good for us.
Thank you. That means not only the community people, the gatekeepers and the stakeholders are very important. That we have to start with them also. No? Yes. So thank you very much. I will just straightforward, I would like to ask the questions as an ethical review member. What are the challenges and issues while all the clinical trials or clinical research projects come for the approval? And what are the challenges or issues you are facing? And your experiences as an ethical review member also, working on these, trial protocols.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to declare that I do not officially represent NHRC Ethical Review Board. I'm just a member. And these are just my personal opinions, but I can share the experiences. I used to be a full-time clinician. Then I started learning, doing some research. I'm still learning, and I'm doing my PhD. So that's been part of the research pathway that I've been following. And I have been like a lead investigator for some of the clinical trials in critical care in Nepal. Those are basically global clinical trials. This is not something that we initiated locally. So that has been a good learning experience for us as well. Then I joined Nepal Health Research Council Ethical Review Board. And what I believe is we really need to work not only on building the research capacity, but we need to work on building the reviewing capacity as well. So the NHRC needs to be more strengthened in terms of human resource. The numbers of proposals that they receive is overwhelming. Like they really work so hard. The team there, they really work overtime to get the proposals approved in time. And one thing that I have realized that every single proposal goes through full review process, which I think needs to be reconsidered, given that there are different types of studies. Some of the studies are low-risk studies, are based on secondary de-identified data that are easily accessible. But even those studies follow the same review process as the clinical trials. So that's taking lots of time. We need to prioritize these things. And some of the studies don't even need to go through the approval process. They can be just be waived off. And there's a provision of waiving off the approval for some of the processes. But for clinical trials, we recently developed or updated a guideline on clinical trial while Dr. Pradip was still there. I think it's not still available for the public access, but we already have the draft.
Yes, I think that's already approved, but it's not in a public consumption now.
Yeah, but that has lots of updates it's more clear, the steps are more clear, and maybe that will help not only the researchers, but the sponsors, CROs, the participants, as well as the reviewers in strengthening the clinical trial capacity in Nepal. So I'd like to stop here. So
thank you. Thank you. Considering the time factors and looking at the crowd also, you know, audience, I'm trying to taper down. Lot of questions that we have got from the presentations, like how can we engage the more sponsors here. So the major issues is legal provisions, arrangement, and how can we make it faster approval, because, you know, sponsors, they wanna complete within a time frame, but, you know, because of these all procedure delay, they land up with problems. That's how, you know, they are not encouraging to come into the Nepal. That's we have discussed a bit, and the sustainable research capacity, that's very important that we have discussed, and the Diptesh also highlighted we have developed the new guidelines, clinical trial guidelines, but still we have some of the questions that I want to ask with Professor Bhasi, and that's very important questions for us, and also maybe the concluding questions. So I have two questions, but maybe the answers that we will get in one. How can we improve collaborations and support, and how can we improve the collaborative studies? Actually, the clinical trials, that's, you know, if we want to do, we need definitely the lot of resources, and if you do a large studies, then that has a significant value. That's how we know the collaborations and support, how can we improve in our context, and as a WHO scientist, how the WHO and at your capacity also help or assist the country like Nepal.
Thank you so much. So I think the first point to make is, my children, I have 3 daughters, they were asking me how many countries I've been to when I came here, and I worked out this is the 73rd country I've been to. And my main point is that I really think that you are already in a good position, so you can build on the good position that you're in, number one. Number two, you have a real opportunity before you get into a very, very excessively bureaucratic mess that some of the high-income countries are in, honestly. So you can actually get ahead. Some of the middle-income countries like you, if you take it seriously, you can definitely get ahead. But when I go to, for example, the European Union, I mean, they will say themselves they have a big mess in trying to sort this out. So please sort it out before you get into the big mess, and you can do that. And I would say the number one point is that you have, like, if you have a check on your car, there are all these different systems, you know, the wheels, the windscreen wipers, etc. But you have to look at everything together. So the strength of clinical research in your country is only as strong as the weakest element. And we have these 4 broad pillars: the national sort of governance, the institutional individual research capacity, the research ethics oversight, and the national regulatory authority. The strength of all of this is as strong as the weakest part of this. So you have to have a way of looking at all of this and focusing on what seems to be the weakest part. Number one, you have to look at it all together. So if what is delaying things is the coordination between the parts, you really have to find a way of focusing on that. Number two, and I just have 3 points, I think you already do this, but how do you really value researchers, health researchers, and health innovators in your country? If you can build the capacities for these, including really encouraging that health practitioners, healthcare workers, nurses, everyone somehow engages in research without it seeing as a penalty against the rest of their time. This is really, really central. If you don't work this out, the rest of it will not follow. Because if everybody is seeing their main work as this and the research is, oh, I don't have time for that, it will not work. There are a few countries where they have worked this out, and the people, if you look at some countries, the people in COVID who really supported the research arm of the response, these are heroes in the country, not only in the health system, in the country. They're invited, you know, to the president's office. So this needs to be valued. And then my final point is, that, and then I'll just say what WHO can help very briefly, is that in addition to the researchers, the people in the system, in the government, the national regulatory authorities, in the research authorities, they also have to be valued as enablers of the work of the researchers. Not really as policemen, but as enablers. It has to be good quality, but they have to be valued as enablers. And what WHO can do, we can help. If you say that this is a priority for you as a country, then we have benchmarking tools. So this is not for us to judge you, it's for you to use these and say, look, what is the next step for us? What's the next step in improving our National Regulatory Authority and improving our Research Ethics Committee system, including the coordination between the bodies? And now we are developing these benchmarking tools for clinical research institutions, which are going to be made public in the next couple of years. And as part of that, we will be developing training materials. And the training materials are, again, not for us to tell you what to do, but for you to take and develop. And I agree with the point that you need to develop national versions of these that are really fit for your purposes, to focus not on what foreigners are telling you are important, but what you know are the key points for training in all of this. And that's training both for the lead researchers, but also training for the healthcare workers to participate, which are two different types of training. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I will open the floors if you have any very pertinent questions. We will enjoy 2-3 questions. Please, Dr. Subhas.
I have 2 short questions, one to Narayan Dhakal sir. Is the government agency just reactive as a regulator, or it's proactive to facilitate and operate clinical trials? In the same connection, I have a question to MOSP representative here. Has government envisioned to bring medicinal plant into the clinical trial steps or not?
Oh, very good questions. Yes, there is another question. So we will collect all the questions and yes. So Mike there.
Hello, Narayan sir. I have a question from my side. If any of the new molecule has to be launched in Nepal, what are the steps to be followed? Like if any of the new molecule that has to be implemented in any of the medicines, what are the steps to make it practical, to make it in launch process?
Thank you. I think it should be, I should say the last, but it's not the last question. But for the value of time, please.
So my question is, what is government doing for like conscious research mindset rather than just blind hit and trial research approach among the students? I would like to know the research, the efforts of government to promote the research mindset, not just blind mindset, but a conscious approach to develop the research mindset among the students. Thank you.
So, Narayan sir.
Thank you.
One question, then you can start, because there should be some ladies' voice also.
Sure.
My question is not the process of the research. What about the outcome, result of the research? How can we access that research article? If people are doing research among us and they publish article, when we trying to access that article, they says we have to pay. How research ethical group team is looking for this, because they are doing among us and we are not able to access full text research. This is very important question for being an academic person.
This is the question for NHRC also. So,
question.
Please.
Professor Dr. J.N. Pandey. I had graduated abroad.
Yes.
I am a physician, a doctor of science, PhD. मैले चाहिँ नेपालीमै बोल्छु. मैले विदेशमा प्र्याक्टिस गर्दाखेरि कुनै फार्मास्युटिकल कम्पनीहरूले नयाँ औषधिहरू चाहिँ इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन गर्दाखेरि मेरो डिपार्टमेन्टमा मेरो हेड अफ द डिपार्टमेन्टलाई चाहिँ नि यो औषधिको ट्रायल गरिदेऊ भनेर आउँथ्यो. हामीले ट्रायल गर्थ्यौँ डिपार्टमेन्टमा. त्यसको हामीले पेपर निकाल्थ्यौँ मेरिट र डिमेरिटको बिचमा रिजल्ट गभर्मेन्टलाई हामीले त्यसलाई दिन्थ्यौँ उसले चाहिँ नि प्रयोग गर्थ्यो हाम्रो यहाँ त के देख्छु मैले अचम्म देख्छु डिडिएले चाहिँ ल्याउँछ स्वाटै चाहिँ हालिदिन्छ 6 महिनामा चाहिँ इन्ग्रिडियन्ट बदलेर आउँछ मलाई त त्यो दिमागमा राख्नै गाह्रो भयो हेर्छु त्यो औषधिको इफेक्टिभिटी नै छैन यो रेगुलेटरी मेकानिजमलाई तपाईहरुले कसरी भन्नुहुन्छ मलाई त अचम्म लागिरहेछ जवाफ दिनु होला
बुझिहाल्नु भयो क्वेशन हो कि सुझाव हो थ्यांक यू
थ्यांक यू धेरै जनाको ताली बज्यो यो लास्ट क्वेशनको लागि धेरै धेरै राम्रो क्वेशन डाक्टर प्याकुरेलले भनेको विषयमा मेरो विचारमा हामी रिएक्टिभ पनि हुन्छौँ कहिले कहिले चाहिँ प्रोएक्टिभ पनि हुन्छौँ रिएक्टिभ इन द सेन्स जस्तो न्यू टेक्नोलोजी हामीलाई पनि नयाँ लागेको छ भने त्यति बेला रिएक्टिभ हुन हाम्रो रेस्पोन्स हुनसक्छ किनभने हामीसँग पनि नलेज कम भएको हुन्छ सेट भएको हुँदैन जस्तो कार्टी सेलको कुरा आयो भने इट्स टोटल्ली न्यू टेक्नोलोजी जस्ट कमिङ अप नाउ कसरी गर्ने भन्ने कुरा हामीसँग पनि थाहा छैन नेसनल लेभलमा पनि अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ छैन इन्टरनेसनल लेभलमा पनि धेरै कुराहरू बनिरहेको अवस्था छ त्यहाँ रिएक्टिभ नै छौँ हामी तर चाहिँ अन्य अब स्मल मलिक्युल अथवा सामान्य प्रडक्टहरूको लागि हामीसँग सेट प्रोसिजर छँदैछ त्यसो भएर त्यसमा हामी मोर इनेबलरै छौँ जहाँसम्म लाग्छ डिडिएमा लाइसेन्स लिन टाइम लाग्यो भन्ने चाहिँ गुनासो खासै मैले सुनेको छैन अब यहाँ कसैले भन्छ भने हात उठाउनु होला है तर हामीले चाहिँ भ्याक्सिनमा चाहिँ टाइम लागेको हाम्रो कारणले होइन यो बिकज अफ द प्रोसेस करेन्ट प्रोसेस अगाडि हामीले त्यति टाइम लाग्दैन थियो हामी कोअर्डिनेटेड रूपमा हाम्रो एउटा चाहिँ नि अघि प्रस्तुतिमा पनि आएको थियो एनएचआरसी र औषधि विभागले सँगै बनाएको फार्मास्युटिकल रिसर्चको क्लिनिकल ट्रायल सम्बन्धी जुन चाहिँ नि गाइडलाइन छ त्यसैलाई हेरेर हाम्रो इन्टर एजेन्सी चाहिँ नि कोअर्डिनेसनमा हामी दिइरहेको हो अहिले पनि त्यही गरिरहेका छौँ त्यसैले त्यसमा धेरै समय लाग्दैन अब मेरो विचारमा तपाईँको क्वेसनमा चाहिँ नि म त्यसरी आउँछु दोस्रो एकजना भाइले चाहिँ अलि मोर चाहिँ डिटेल चाहिँ नि रेगुलेटरी प्रश्न गर्नुभयो नयाँ मोलिक्युल छ भने चाहिँ क्लिनिकल ट्रायलको चाहिँ नि विभिन्न चाहिँ फेज मध्येमा हामी कहाँ नर्मल्ली डिडिएका आउने भने चाहिँ अहिले पनि थर्ड फेजकै हो अथवा सेकेन्ड फेजमा चलिरहेको चाहिँ प्रडक्टहरू छ भने पनि अलिकति जस्तो अहिले कम्प्यासनेट युजमा या अन्य कुनै पर्पजमा थोरै लिमिटेड गरेर आउने हो तर तपाईँको प्रश्नको लागि चाहिँ थर्ड फेजको क्लिनिकल ट्रायललाई चाहिने डकुमेन्टहरू के हो भन्ने कुरा हाम्रो वेबसाइटमा क्लियरली तपाईँले हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ एमआरजीमा जानुहोस् र त्यहाँ क्लिनिकल ट्रायलमा के चाहिन्छ भनेर लिस्ट अफ रिक्वायरमेन्ट्सहरू त्यहाँ लेखिएको छ त्यसबाट तपाईँ अलिक क्लियर हुन सक्नुहुन्छ तर मेरो छोटकरीमा के हो भन्दाखेरि तपाईँ आउनुहुन्छ भने तपाईँसँग चाहिँ प्रिक्लिनिकल डेटाहरू हुनु पऱ्यो रिसर्च गर्न चाहिँ तपाईँले के चाहिँ गर्नुभयो तपाईँको एन्ड पोइन्टहरू के हुन् होइन यो सबै प्रोटोकल चाहिँ एनएचआरसीबाट इथिकल एप्रुभल भइसक्यो हुनु पऱ्यो या तपाईँ सँगै दिनुभयो भने पनि स्वीकृत हुने बेला एप्रुभल लिएर मात्रै हामीले चाहिँ तपाईँलाई लाइसेन्स दिन्छौँ हामी सँगै चाहिँ प्रोसेस गर्छौँ आई थिङ्क यु मेन्सन दिस आफ्टरनुन वी आर एक्चुअली डुइङ इभ्यालुएसन टुगेदर द एप्लिकेन्ट क्यान प्रोभाइड एप्लिकेसन एट द एनएचआरसी एन्ड दे क्यान अल्सो सबमिट टु द डिपार्टमेन्ट and together we evaluate but final certification approval for what you call conduct of CT is provided after ethical approval is being given so that is the thing मेरो विचारमा तपाईँको प्रश्न त्यहाँबाट सल्भ हुन्छ होला अर्को भाइले चाहिँ सजेसन नै दिनुभयो रेगुलेटरीको लागि सजेसन दिनुभएको छ हाम्रो हिमाली दाइको त अब उहाँको चाहिँ नि अब ग्लोबल सजेसन जनै हुन्छ मलाई दिइ पनि राख्नुहुन्छ
अब एउटा क्वेसन चाहिँ अब सरले एन्सर दिनुहुन्छ कि हाम्रो डाक्टर दिपेन्द्र रमनले यो मेडिसिनल प्लान्ट्सहरू हर्बल मेडिसिन्सहरूको अथवा नेपालको आफ्नै प्रोडक्टहरूको क्लिनिकल ट्रायलहरूलाई पनि त बढाउनु पर्यो नि भन्ने पुछ्रे क्वेसन थियो होइन त डाक्टर सुभाषको त्यसलाई पनि छोटो छौँ अनि हामी बिदा हुने बेला भयो यहाँ सबैले आँखा झिम्काइसक्यो
डाक्टर साहब के छ भने क्लिनिकल ट्रायलको यो विभिन्न सिस्टम अफ मेडिसिन भनेर छुट्टै चाहिँ गाइडलाइन्स छैन हामीले केही चाहिँ हाम्रो के अरे आयुर्वेदको रिसर्च एन्ड ट्रेनिङ सेन्टर छ उहाँहरू र चाहिँ मिलेर एउटा चाहिँ उहाँहरूले टेन्टेटिभ चाहिँ नि चेकलिस्ट केही वर्ष अगाडि बनाइराख्नु भएको छ त त्यो चाहिँ नि फाइनल रूपमा हामीले एडप्ट गरिसकेको अवस्था होइन त DDL ले चाहिँ नि अहिले छुट्टै चाहिँ त्यो बनाएको छैन हामीसँग त्यही एउटै नै गाइडलाइन छ थ्यांक यू
अब एउटा क्वेशन चाहिँ हाम्रो डाक्टर बेन्जोलाको छ जुन चाहिँ तपाईहरु रिसर्च गर्नुहुन्छ आर्टिकल लेख्नुहुन्छ तर आर्टिकल चाहिँ हामीलाई एक्सेस हुँदैन यो पनि त इथिकल इस्यु होइन भन्ने लेभलबाट जुन प्रश्न गर्नु भएको छ यो एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट कुरा चाहिँ हो अब डाक्टर मेघनाथले यसको छोटो जवाफ दिनुहुन्छ किनभने NHRC should be responsible for this नि हैन अफिसियली
सबैजनालाई धन्यवाद वास्तवमा प्यानलिस्टले नि भन्नु पर्थ्यो मलाई फेरि क्वेशन नाइ पनि भन्न सकिन हैन सो for me actually now there are two options one we need to go in open access publications so when we allocate the resource from the funding body if we allocate the resource for the open access publication then means researchers are paid to the publication house and the research can read free of cost one option second option is the for many low and middle income country who have access of Hinari and research for life that platform we can use third options, if you write a very polite email to the corresponding author mentioning the objective, usually all researchers share the publications because every researcher wants to increase the citation of their paper, right? So researcher of course will help. And finally, of course it is ethical if the researcher pay and the reader read free of cost. Thank you.
Thank you very much. हामी एउटा ग्रुप फोटो खिच्छ होला एडिसनली हाम्रो डाक्टर मेघनाथले भनेको कुरामा हाम्रो कन्टिन्युअस ग्लोबल एडभोकेसी के छ भने रिसर्चका सबै फाइन्डिङ्सहरू पब्लिकली ओपन गरिनुपर्छ र त्यसलाई युटिलाइज गरिनुपर्छ एभिडेन्स बेस्ड प्र्याक्टिसको कुरा हामीले गरिरहेछौँ त्यसको चाहिँ प्रवर्धनको लागि चाहिँ सबै एभिडेन्सेसहरू चाहिँ पब्लिकली एभाइलेबल हुनुपर्छ भन्ने एडभोकेसी पनि चलिरहेछ थ्यांक यू भेरी मच फर योर होल कोअपरेसन्स थ्यांक यू भेरी मच फर ऑल पैनलिस्ट फर योर एक्सपर्ट भ्यूज and thank you to all and have a group photo please
Thank you. That was very, very igniting and engaging discussion. We needed that to energize our soul and grab the attention as well. Thank you. Yeah, I request all of you to remain here for a photo opportunity. And with this power-packed session, we're heading for a tea break. 20 minutes को हाम्रो tea break को समयलाई हामीले थोरै घटाउने प्रयासमा छौं तपाई टी कफी लिएर यो हलमै आउन सक्नुहुन्छ र अहिलेलाई 15 मिनेट जति हामी फ्रेशन अप हुनका लागि समय लिन्छौं त्यसपछि टी कफीका साथमा यो हलमा पुनः प्रवेश गर्दिनु